Hello! Hopefully a short one today. The topic, agency merits examination. This is going to be an exercise in sort of trying to describe something that's really common and normal in a way that makes it sound abnormal enough to make it worth thinking about for a moment, I suppose. But it's just this idea that, we're agents, we act in the world according to purposes, and so that seems really natural and intuitive to us, but it's kind of an odd thing that sort of certain little corners of the universe can be meaningfully described according to an agenda. The idea that this system has an agenda, it's got some purpose that it's trying to act out in the world, is informative. That sort of ascribing intent to something gets you value. So I just wanted to rant about that for just a moment here. So as usual, technical definitions and whatnot. So I'm running with agent as just any agenda-driven system. Right? Any system for which it is a useful and meaningful move to ascribe to it an agenda. My favorite example of that is a thermostat. Right? You don't have to know how a thermostat operates in order to make accurate predictions about how it is going to behave as a system. You just drop in some agenda for it. This thermostat wants to keep the room at 70 degrees. Okay, cool. Now I know a lot about how this thing is going to behave in the future. I can confidently make the prediction, hey, when the temperature drops down to like 68 degrees, it's going to kick the heater on. And when the temperature rises above 73 degrees, it's going to turn the heater off. Right? There's a nice, beautiful, consistent pattern that I can predict accurately and easily without understanding anything about how the thermostat works as a system. I don't have to actually pry open the box and puzzle out what's going on with the electronics and the mechanical systems and whatnot. I can just know the agenda. What's it trying to do in the world? And I have good information about what it's going to do in the future. That's a bit of an odd thing. And it requires something else that's, I think, we take too much for granted, which is just the idea of reference, that certain parts of the universe can be about other parts of the universe. That seems really strange to me. I don't know. And in fact, the idea of reference is so robust that even if you try to overtly exclude it from things like logical formal systems, it just works its way in anyway. It's a non-excludable property of formal systems that certain parts of them refer to other parts of them. Look up Gödel's incompleteness theorem if you're interested in that sort of thing, although I don't even know why I'm interested in that sort of thing, so there you are. But yeah, we have to have this idea of reference so that if you have like a beaver, for example, scurrying about in the woods, biting down trees, which is super metal, biting down trees, dragging them to a nice flat area, what's it getting up to? Well, it wants to build a dam. Why does it want to build a dam? Because it wants to have a wetland for its habitat so it can make a nice little safe lodge to raise its little beaver pups. But somewhere inside that beaver, there are, probably trillions of times inside that beaver, there are sequences of nucleotides. And it's meaningful to interpret them as genes for a dam. And genes for dams of certain types of construction and whatnot. There's a very specific gene, for example, for packing mud on the sound of gurgling water so that you can take, poor beavers out of their natural context and play a tape of gurgling water around them, and they'll try to do mud packing behaviors and whatnot. And there's just a sequence of nucleotides that refers not only to the beaver's body, but to the beaver's context. Something about them encodes information about mud and flowing water and trees and different landforms and the coming together of all of those things to create the wetland that is the environment within which a beaver can thrive. all of that reference is baked into it, and it has to come from somewhere. All of that, this bit of the universe being about this bit of the universe, it's a intensely structured sort of thing that has to come from somewhere. And the place that it actually comes from, so far as we can tell, is evolution by natural selection, which is a whole other can of worms. So hopefully this video, if not informative, at the very least, is slightly intellectually provocative, just to get you thinking about why is it that there are agents in the world? How can we explain that? And also, what's going on, with the idea of reference, with one part of the universe being about another part of the universe? And I'll be doing a follow-up video, of course, on natural selection, but I'm never probably going to get to the bottom of this issue of reference, actually. This kind of aboutness issue, as far as I understand it, just an open problem in the world. Nobody's ever solved it. And it probably will never be solved, but it seems to be part of the structure of the universe that one bit of it can be about other bits of it. I think that merits more consideration. Just a fun way to spend your time as you're going about the business of being a happy human being. Everybody's got to have hobbies.